the first thing is that there are not only children involved, there are adult children with their children, there are siblings with their children, there are in-laws that people have decades of relationships with. So there are extended networks established over decades that have to come apart or figure some way to reorganize when older folks decide to divorce. Mm-hmm. It's one of the reasons that I say to my supervisees, you know, even though the kids are grown, there is a huge network involved here, and your work does not end. You haven't failed if this couple decides to divorce. Mm-hmm. You've come to a new stage, and your job is to help them come apart with as much integrity and respect as possible, because there are a lot of people involved.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, as you, from your experience, and as you look at this phenomenon, what are the big issues for couples at this point?
Well, before we even get to recoupling, you know, in a divorce, you want to confide in somebody. Everybody wants to confide in somebody. Mm-hmm. And the most intimate people to confide in are your adult children. And it may seem as if we could confide in our adult children. So my client Jessica says to me, you know, I finally told my daughter, age 35, about her father's affairs. Mm-hmm. And I look at Jessica, I can see Jessica feels really relieved. But what we know is parent-child relationships are forever. And it turns out that getting caught in the middle of a divorce is as toxic to adults as it is to kids, and it's especially toxic for young adult and adult women, daughters. Mm-hmm. So I have to say to my client, oh, that it felt great to tell her that. You've held that alone for so long. Uh-huh. I'll bet it felt so good. And I know you love your daughter. I know you want the best for her. And I have some hard news for you. Uh-huh. It turns out parent-child relationships are forever. And I know you would not want to hurt your daughter. It turns out you cannot confide in her as much as you want to. What's that like to hear from me? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to help her go back and repair. You know, do you feel you could go back to your daughter and let her know that you're sorry you pulled her in? 0 to 10, how hard would that be? 10 really hard, 0 easy. If it's really hard, we have a lot more work to do before she's going to do it. Uh-huh.
So part of how you see your role, so that's quite direct. So are there other things? What are the things that you feel like people may not understand, or that maybe other therapists might be more indirect about it or pretend a certain neutrality about that, but it sounds like you're quite clear that there's certain things that you really feel like you should share, you should inform your clients about this particular phase of life.
Well, a couple things. There are a couple of levels of territory. One is this kind of concrete information. Another very concrete piece of information is that divorce in later life absolutely torpedoes retirement planning. And that what may look like a fair division of assets when you take the tax consequences into consideration is not a fair division of assets. So we do need to alert our clients or help them get help to look at these things.